Believe in Bigfoot? Dogman? Any cryptid? Are you skeptical?
Curious about the supernatural, conspiracy theories, the unknown? Then come join us as we explore facts, tall tales, and encounters on Creatures and Curiosities.
Hello, and welcome to Creatures and Curiosities and the year 2026.
Yeah.
I'm David.
And I'm Jake.
And in this season opener, we're going to be talking about a terrifying creature. This is not a cryptid. This is a demonic entity
Yep.
by the name of Nuckelavee. Not many people know about it, but the people that do
Are rightfully terrified by it.
and from my understanding, the mere mention of the name, they try and follow it up with prayer as soon as possible.
Which just goes to show you that it's demonic.
It's demonic and it's a horrifying creature.
Yeah.
So before we get into it, how was your Christmas?
Phenomenal, as always.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we try to teach our kids what Christmas is all about, which is celebrating the birth of our Lord. And then what comes close after that is family. So it's just good to spend time with family and enjoy that time off. And of course, it's fun to watch the kids open gifts and get excited about little trinkets and stuff.
Well, and did Santa bring everything they wanted?
Of course.
Dreamed of and hoped for. And
like always.
Yeah. Well, he visited our house too, and we got some pretty good things. And like you said, the best part is family.
Yep.
You know, we had kids coming in from all over the country.
Yeah.
And it was a nice visit. I guess my favorite thing about Christmas, aside from lights, family, food, scents, all the giving qualities and the happiness that Christmas brings, I love watching Christmas Vacation and Krampus.
Yeah. Those are the two best Christmas movies.
I absolutely love that. And just sitting around the TV, you got your eggnog, you know, and you got all your little snacks and different things that everybody's baked and brought for the house. And just the smells of, well, like I said in the last episode, I love fruitcake and all that kind of stuff. And you sit there and you watch these shows and it never gets old.
No. And I watch it more than once.
I watch it more. I've already watched Krampus this season.
Yeah.
And I think I watched it at least twice.
Yeah.
At least twice. And I can watch Christmas Vacation monthly.
Oh, that's easy.
I love that show.
Yeah.
With a passion.
It's the best. It's the best one they did. The National Lampoon's.
Oh, 100%.
The Chevy Chase. It's hands down the best one.
Yeah. Wally World was good.
Yep.
But Christmas Vacation blows them all away. And Krampus has to be the best Krampus story I've ever watched.
Oh, and I never realized how many there actually are.
Oh, I know.
You go on like Tubi or Hulu or whatever, and you just type in Krampus, and there's like 20 movies.
Yeah. And they're all like horror movies.
Yeah.
But the Krampus one with...
What is his name? Yeah. Adam... I don't know. I always know him as Derek from Step Brothers.
That's exactly what I refer to him as. He's Derek from Step Brothers. That one's just the best.
It's the best one because it's funny, but it's also terrifying. You know, when he's leaping across the houses and they're trying to run away down the street.
Yeah, they had a really good depiction of what Krampus looks like.
I love it.
Especially those big hooves when they slam down.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, so we got through Christmas unscathed and everything went nicely. Decorations, of course, still up, you know, for the first of the year.
Have to.
And then New Year's.
Black-eyed peas.
Black-eyed peas.
Oh, with cornbread. It's the best.
Southern fried chicken and
I love
fried cabbage.
I love all the other stuff too, but if you just gave me the black-eyed peas and cornbread, I'm good.
Yeah.
But you got to do it every year. It's tradition.
And it is tradition. It's tradition in our household. Right. And of course, across the country, you know, a lot of people do the same. But yeah, a big bowl of black-eyed peas brings luck throughout the year.
Yeah.
In my case, it's usually bad luck.
Yeah.
But nonetheless,
I wonder if it's bad luck. I wonder if it's bad luck because of how many bowls I eat of it.
Well,
maybe it's supposed to be one, but because I have like 4 to 5.
Yeah, yeah, and then you're so stuffed with cornbread, too. But anyway, no, I love this time of year. I love the cold here in Montana. Mm-hmm. I could do without the icy road conditions.
Yeah, and you know what? I hate the road conditions. I more so hate it because And, I'm not perfect in any way, but it seems like everybody else just forgets how to drive.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
They think just because
you
they
either have the one that's doing 6 miles an hour,
Yep.
Instead of at least 30.
Yep.
Or you got the one that's doing 75.
And I'll take the guy doing 6 over the guy doing 75.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to worry about them spinning out.
Right. And then as soon as you get on the freeway, there's 12 cars,
Yep.
per mile that are off into the embankments. And yeah, it's a nightmare driving around here at this time of year. But I do love the cold weather.
Love it.
And I just love this time of year. So the next thing we have to look forward to, I guess, is, well, not just Valentine's Day, but springtime. Spring rolling around and Mother's Day, fly fishing.
Oh,
we got to
yes.
get out there and do the Mother's Day caddis hatch this
Yep.
year. Yeah, it's great living in Montana. Anybody that's never been to Montana,
Stay away.
Stay away. Yeah. You can come and visit for a week, but then please go.
Yeah.
And that's terrible to say, but
yeah, don't bring your garbage politics here.
yeah,
We moved here for a reason.
we don't want it. Anyway, let's move into Nuckelavee.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of information on Nuckelavee, but if you know about it, it's probably one of the most frightening things out there. We have covered an awful lot of cryptids, ghost stories, and whatnot over the past 2 seasons. Nuckelavee might be the most evil entity of anything that we've talked about.
Yeah.
Not to mention the fact that it's terrifying to look at. And when we get into this description, if you can sit back, close your eyes, and try and envision this thing, and then imagine coming across it in real life, I don't think there's anything more horrifying. Bat Squatch is scary. Jersey Devil is scary. A Bigfoot visually isn't scary, but I guess knowing what he could do to you,
Sure,
rip your
yeah.
arms off and beat you to death with them, things of that nature. Lizard man, all the things that we've talked about are scary in one respect, and that is because it's the unknown. It's probably an evil entity, a demonic thing, and Lord knows what they're going to do
Yeah,
to
it
you.
could flay you open like nothing.
But this thing is what nightmares are
It's just
made of.
evil.
It's strictly evil, and it's not considered a cryptid. It is considered a demon.
Right.
So let's get into it. The Nuckelavee is this terrifying, skinless horse demon from Orcadian folklore, which basically is Scottish, but there's a little mix of like Norse tradition in there as well. Its name means devil of the sea. So what does that tell you right
There
out of
you
the
go.
chute? It is a grotesque fusion of a horse and a humanoid, often described as riderless, but with a fused rider on its back. So the rider is this assumably male torso with no legs. So it appears to just meld into the back of the horse. So if you can picture a horse with a growth coming out of its back
Yeah.
that's in the shape of a man. Its arms are long, and meaning the rider. The arms are long and gangly, and they can reach the ground from its position on top of this equine body. So they're really long,
Which is horrifying.
disgusting
Yeah.
arms. And it often drags its arms on the ground during movement. So if you can picture this horse emerges, comes running towards you, and this wobbling body, this torso thing that's just growing out of the back of the horse with arms that are dragging the ground, and the dust is kicking up from the nails and stuff scratching along the ground. It's quite a vivid image for me.
Oh, yeah.
To me, that would just be absolutely terrifying.
Well, and to add the one little key feature, it's not just a horse, it's a skinless horse.
Skinless horse. Yeah, which we're going to get into. And
Yeah.
it makes it even more disgusting. But this torso that is growing out of the back of this horse has this large, disproportionate, swollen head, possibly like as big as maybe 3 feet in diameter, that rolls back and forth, almost like, the neck is wobbling. And then you just got this big bobblehead wobbling around back and forth. and it has this large gaping mouth that opens up. And in most descriptions, the head has no eyes, but it might have like empty sockets.
So just black.
So just these, just holes where the eyes should be in this skinless, nasty thing that's got these two long appendages, dragging the ground. It kind of reminds me of the game that you talked about in another episode, Silent Hill.
Oh, yeah.
So I was playing it the other day, Silent Hill 2. And as you're walking through the streets, trying to find the little things that you're supposed to pick up before you can go find Mary or whatever her name was. And those things that just come walking out, I don't know if they're in the original. Have you ever played Silent Hill 2?
Oh, I'm pretty sure I have.
They're these humanoid figures that come out, and they're wobbling, and they have no facial features, but it's clearly this humanoid thing. I don't even think they have arms. They just wiggle around and bob, and they come towards you, and as you're beating them with a stick, knocking them down, if they vomit on you, it burns you and stuff.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what I picture sitting on top of this horse. It's this unknown entity that's clearly humanoid and human shaped, but with no distinguishing features.
And it moves unnaturally.
Bobs around, and the head's swinging, and
the arms are dragging.
And then the big gaping mouth, I can just picture that thing puking on you. Anyway, the horse portion, just the horse itself, is said to have these fin-like appendages that are really long and clawed. And clearly it has these fin-like appendages because it's a sea creature. It lives in the ocean. It does come out onto land, and it runs like a horse. But probably instead of hooves, it has like webbing so that it can paddle.
Just something to add to the creepiness.
Yeah. It has a single large, fiery, bloodshot red eye on it.
There you go. Red eyes.
Yeah, red eye. Right smack dab in the middle of this big equine head. And so, I don't know, you can just picture this thing, right? This horse, the fin-like thing, I still picture the long legs of like a horse because it runs like a horse. So it must have just like webbed feet or something so that it can paddle through the water because it lives in the ocean most of the time. And so I have I guess my imagination of what this thing would really look like in real life. The fins are the hardest part for me to picture. But the rest of the horse with the one eye right in the center.
I almost picture that eye actually fiery too.
Yes.
Not like full blaze, but like a little bit of flame coming off it. See, that's creepy.
And that it is. It doesn't like throw flames or anything, but it is like this burning fieriness.
Like watching a small campfire almost.
Yeah, in its forehead. So the Nuckelavee, and this is the grotesque part, I suppose. Not that it hasn't been bad enough already with the Silent Hill guy riding it, But the Nuckelavee has no skin. It has black blood that courses through yellow veins and pale sinews, and it has these powerful muscles that are visible as a pulsating mass. So picture like turning a horse inside out.
Yeah.
There's no skin coverage. And you're seeing all of the innards. You're seeing all of the veins and the arteries, the sinew, the muscle structure, all of it like moving, as it's moving, and you're watching this black blood coursing through its veins. That in and of itself has to be the most terrifying thing you could look at. Have you ever seen, I don't remember the name of it, but it is the museum where the guy puts dead people, dead horses and all that kind of stuff. And he does not taxidermy, but he unveils the inner workings of your body, but they're real.
No, I don't think I've seen that.
They're cadavers. They had it in Vegas and stuff for a while. I can't remember the name of it. But when you go in, there's one where this guy is sitting on a horse. But what you're looking at is the entire muscle structure, the veins, the arterial stuff, the sinew, everything that's on the inside of the horse, he's preserved, and they're real. They even have a pregnant woman where she died and the baby died. So the body was donated to science. And he skins them, brings them down to the muscle structure so that you can see everything.
It's almost like he is a serial killer,
Yes.
but he's like, I don't want to be bad, like a moral serial killer.
Yes.
It's like, I don't want to be bad, so I'll just do this
like the
and put it at a museum.
Ed Gein or whatever
exactly.
his name is. Ed Gein or Gein. Yeah, it's a weird thing.
Yeah.
It's very strange to look at, but it's kind of worth going in and looking. But you got to get past the fact that you're actually looking at
the real stuff,
dead people and real dead stuff. So along with the visual horror of looking at this inside out horse and rider, it also smells like rotting flesh.
Well, of course.
Yeah. So as it gets close to you, you can probably smell like the blood and the internal organs.
Yeah. Hellfire and brimstone is what you could smell.
I mean, it really brings home the point of how horrifying this thing is. Its screams and its presence alone are terrifying and unnerving. It doesn't even have to do anything. Just looking at it, you'd be horrified to the extent that, I don't know, many people probably drop from heart attacks just looking at it. Not to mention the fact that it is this demonic, horrifying, evil entity.
Yeah, I was thinking about it when you said it earlier, that how terrifying this thing actually is. Because, you and I think some of the things we've talked about are demonic entities. And we could be wrong. I mean, we're not, but we could be wrong, right?
Right.
But that's what this is.
Yeah.
There's no like, well, it could be this or not. No,
Right.
It's a demonic entity.
Yes, there's no mistaking it. It's not a misidentified animal.
Right.
It's not, like Dog Man or something.
It's a government experiment or whatever.
Yeah, there's no getting around it.
Right.
This thing is a demon.
Which adds to the level of
Horror.
terror. Yeah, exactly.
So it is known that its breath exudes this pungent, toxic vapor, and its mere gaze spreads pestilence throughout the countryside. So when it shows up, things are going to die.
Yeah.
Period. It's not there, because it's on a vacation. It's a absolutely horrifying evil entity that has nothing good about it. Some reports of this creature say that it resembles a centaur, which I don't believe that. A centaur would have the human front end. This thing clearly has an equine head with one eye.
And I could be wrong on this, but aren't centaurs usually like good? Aren't they like warriors?
Supposed to be.
Supposed to be, right?
Like
I mean, I guess
mythologically speaking, yeah. But it's the body of a horse and the torso and upper appendages and head of a human.
Right.
This thing doesn't. It's
the Silent Hill demon with the skinless horse.
Exactly. That's exactly it right there. But unlike any other like mythical being, this thing has zero redeeming qualities. It is pure evil, and it only seeks to harm people and destroy everything it comes across. So it has nothing good about it.
Yeah. Which demons don't.
Demons don't. Yeah.
So there you go.
It clearly is a demon.
Yeah.
Yeah. By their very nature. The location where this thing is, it lives in the sea, near the shores of the Orkney Islands, Scotland. And these islands are about 10 miles north of mainland Scotland in the United Kingdom, and they're part of Scotland's Northern Isles, which kind of feature this blend of Scottish and Norse history.
To add to it real quick, I mean, as you know, when Jesus cast out Legion into the pigs, where's the first place they ran?
To the sea.
To the sea.
Yeah. There's a million things that I've read relative to that.
Yeah.
Like people saying that they've seen UFOs and stuff rise up out of the sea. And just like you're saying, clearly the Bible, again, very controversial, but the book of Enoch and stuff literally talks about that the fallen angels live in the ocean.
Yeah.
They live in the sea. They even talked about how some of the women that took them as husbands were banished to the sea, which brings about the whole mermaid concept, that they were these half mortal, half demonic female entities that are now living in the ocean.
And then
And that explains sirens and mermaids that lead people to their demise.
Well, then you have the Euphrates River.
And then there's the 4 demons that live
Yeah.
that are imprisoned in the Euphrates.
And then in Revelation, you got Leviathan rising from the sea.
Yep. The water is a bad place.
Yeah. So
I love fishing, but I don't want to catch a demon.
It just kind of adds to the point that this thing is demonic.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know a lot of people would be like, are you guys giving a religion lesson or are you talking about a demon? Well, kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
The fact that this is a folklore from Scotland doesn't negate the fact that it might also be real. Right?
Right.
I mean, folklore can be real. Somebody saw it, somebody made it up, whatever the case. But we do know that these creatures did exist at one point, literally were talked about in the Bible, and it's possible that they exist.
Right.
I think this thing could exist.
Yeah.
So let's kind of get into the origin of the Nuckelavee. Legends of the Nuckelavee began as far back as the 16th century. It was a product of the isolated Orkney Islands blending their Norse mythology, which kind of talked about horse demons, and Celtic water spirits, such as like the little kelpies, with local anxieties about disease, famine, and the brutal sea. But by the 19th century, folklorists detailed and popularized terrifying tales of this particular creature, which brought it more into the limelight. It's always been present in the folklore of that region.
Right.
But now more people know about it. The Nuckelavee is widely recognized as clearly the most evil of all of the spirits, at least in their folklore, because there's plenty. They have all those little water spirit things throughout the centuries, some of them good, some of them bad. There were cousins to this thing, but everybody agrees that the Nuckelavee is clearly the top dog for being the most evil entity in this folklore. It literally embodies a force of malevolence, disease, and destruction. It's primarily a creature of the sea, but it's not confined to the water, which kind of makes it even scarier.
Yeah. It's not like a shark where you could just say,
No,
oh, there's a shark there.
stay out of the
Horrifying,
water.
but I just don't have to go in the water. It's fine.
Right. Yeah, there's no getting around this guy. It's capable of coming ashore where it wreaks havoc on both the land and the people that live there. Now, one of the funny things about this, and we've talked about this before in Native American folklore, where other spirits sometimes can curtail the activities of bad ones. Where you have one deity that's over another. And this is basically the same kind of story. It's controlled by this annual battle of ocean deities. There is the Mither of the Sea, which is basically means the mother of the sea. And this is Mother Nature, basically. It's a deity who controls and imprisons the Nuckelavee during the summer months, keeping it under the waves. So she's good. This Mither of the Sea, she would be the exact opposite of the Nuckelavee. She keeps the seas calm, which is why she's considered the summer months.
Yeah.
So it's the nicest time of year. The seas are calm, and she can keep this thing at bay. Terran, which is another deity, and they refer to this thing as a sea god, battles the Mither for control around autumn. And Tehran usually wins because the weather's getting worse. The seas get rougher, the cold starts to set in. And so that unleashes the Nuckelavee onto land. So when the Nuckelavee comes ashore, it does so with the intention of basically spreading chaos and destruction. It comes during times of drought, famine, or plague, the winter months, basically, when the community is already vulnerable. And its very presence is a blight on the land. It brings disease and death wherever it goes. It was particularly blamed for livestock diseases like glander's disease, which hit like the horses and the cattle there. usually fatal. About 95% of the time, it would actually kill the animals.
Yeah.
And crop failure. Well, they believed that the Nuckleavee's breath was responsible for destroying all the crops, killing the livestock, and causing epidemics amongst all the human population there. In the isolated, close-knit communities of the Orkney Islands, where disease could spread rapidly and uncontrollably, the Nuckelavee provided a supernatural explanation for sudden outbreaks of illness or famine. And we're going to get into later in the podcast on how you can maybe ward this thing off a little bit. But the other thing that I really didn't get into was during this time frame, this particular area in Scotland, they would burn seaweed. And the reason they burned it is it ended up creating an ash that they would use to make fertilizer, soap, different things, kind of like how we use borax and stuff for soap. Well, by burning this, it created what they called kelp. And that was their main, and I hate to use the term industry, but it was their main thing that they did, their main kind of their business during like the 16th, 17th centuries. And it was believed that when they burned this kelp, that it infuriated the Nuckelavee. It got so pissed off and so enraged by the smell that it was putting off that it would do one of two things. It would either, in times of the winter, it would come ashore and destroy everybody, try and kill everything, because it couldn't stand the smell. It put off like this pungent gas.
Well, you've been trapped all summer, and now you come out and you got this to deal with.
You got to breathe that crap, so it is. Yeah, you got to go kill everybody and kill all the animals. But it was also believed that sometimes the smell would enrage it so much that it would just go back into the ocean. So without getting into the whole lore of what that was, they did a study years later, and they found out that by burning the seaweed, it actually created this acidic alkalinity substance that was known to spread disease amongst livestock, and it actually killed the animals.
Yeah.
So what they were doing on the island was actually harming their own crops, their own animals and stuff, but they blamed the Nuckelavee.
Yeah. They're trying to run a business and ward off this demon with this burning this.
Yeah, while they're killing all of all of the things that they need for survival on the island. But nonetheless, they blamed the Nuckelavee for it. And, they didn't know. 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th century, they didn't have the same technology. Because this study that they found out where burning the seaweed caused this acidic quality, I think it was done in like 2006 or something like that. So,
and, you got a known demon running around. Why wouldn't you blame it on him?
You gotta.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned.
Something bad happens, it's his fault.
Anything bad that happens, it's the Nuckelavee.
If I poop my pants there, it's his fault. I don't know how, but it's his.
So I was trying to find some sightings on the Nuckelavee, and I was actually kind of shocked to see that there were more than I thought there would be. Because it's a demonic entity, people aren't going to come out and say they saw it for the most part.
Yeah.
But I did find several little stories on it, but nothing with any detail, 0 time frames. It was stories about how they were trying to ward it off, things that they would do to try and lure it in, because it doesn't like fresh water. It's frightened of fresh water. So they would do things where they would bring their cattle in near rivers and stuff to try and lure it into the smell. And then they would try and get it into the water. And there were all these different little stories, but none of them had much detail. And so I only found one story that you're going to cover of a guy that actually saw it and was pursued by it. Now, could he have been a drunk?
Potentially. Yeah.
Clearly, he could have been, and he could have made up the story. But this is the one account where somebody got a really good look at it and actually got chased by it.
Can you imagine not only seeing it, but then being pursued by it? And then everybody calls you a nut.
And then you're a nut, yeah.
And meanwhile, you can't sleep at night because you're just worried that this
I don't think you could
skinless horse demon is going to kill you.
If this actually happened, I don't think you could ever sleep again.
There's no way.
No.
You'd fall asleep from exhaustion and then wake up in a sweat of horror the next day.
I would have probably dropped dead when it took its first 2 steps towards me.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been out hunting where I came across a moose and her 2 calves, and I'm coming up the kind of a hill, and it's coming at the other side of the hill, and we meet at the top. And I just stood there stunned while it's slinging snot and stomping the ground, and I knew she was going to attack me, and I didn't want to kill her because I knew her babies would be toast too.
Yeah.
But
that's a normal animal.
That's just a normal animal. And I stood there, with my heart pounding out of my chest and thinking, what am I going to do? So imagine if this thing came up on you.
Yeah.
And you can't kill this.
No.
I mean, I at least had the option of popping that poor moose and dropping her.
Those of you who haven't been close to a moose, I mean, they're taller than your SUV.
Oh,
so
yeah.
They're huge.
She was terrifying.
Yeah.
And the 2 babies right behind her.
And they're violent.
They're extremely violent. I knew she was going to attack me.
I'd rather come across a black bear than a moose.
Yeah. Moose are territorial, and especially since she had her babies.
Yeah, oh yeah.
She's protective, but she chose to turn and walk away, and then took me about a half an hour to get my heart rate back down.
Well, I'm sure you crapped your pants and everything else. Yeah, of course.
I wasn't going to admit to that, but sure I did.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just think about a moment like that in your life that I still remember. This is like 5-6 years ago,
Yeah.
I still remember it like it was yesterday. Imagine if that was the Nuckelavee.
Yeah, a skinless horse demon.
Skinless horse, smells like rotting flesh.
The Silent Hill guy on his back.
Basically inside out, Silent Hill on riding it, screaming at you, hissing. You can smell the pungent vapors coming off its breath that are toxic, that are probably going to kill you.
Yeah.
And it wants you dead. And then it starts galloping towards you.
It's game over. Yeah.
I would drop dead.
Yeah.
Period. But anyway, let's get into the sighting of it.
The only detailed account of a sighting was by an islander named Tomas. Now, no specific date was given, but it happened in the late 19th century. Late one night, Tomas was walking home by the light of a bright moon, and he reached a section of the path with the sea on one side of him and a little freshwater lake on the other when he gets stopped in his tracks. Something was moving toward him up ahead, and he thought it was somebody on horseback, but as it got closer, he started to realize that it was obviously far too big to be someone.
He thought it was the Silent Hill guy.
Yeah, exactly. Now, whatever it was, he had that cold, dreaded feeling that it wasn't good. Now, Tomas had nowhere to go but backward, and there was no chance he was going to turn his back to the monster, which rightfully so.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. Keep eye contact with it and walk backwards.
Because I think of just like, stuff we've covered in like, just like the Appalachian Mountains and stuff, when you hear stuff or see stuff, the second those people turn around or look away from it, it's gone.
Yeah.
And now you're wondering where it is.
Right.
Same thing with this guy. I don't blame him for not turning around.
Nope. Got to keep an eye on it.
So he stood his ground and said a little prayer as he began to make out the horrible figure that was the Nuckelavee. So if, he's sitting there praying because he doesn't know what it is. And now all of a sudden he realizes,
yep,
it's
the most evil demonic entity in the land.
Now, it was a strange hybrid of man and horse, seemingly fused together. The head of the man was enormous, with a mouth sticking out like the snout of a pig. It had arms so long that it could reach the ground without even bending over. The wide mouth of the horse's head was sneering at him while steam belched out of it. Its single red eye stared at him like fire.
Well, that wasn't the worst part.
No, it wasn't. Tomas watched as the red, raw-fleshed creature stood before him like it had been turned inside out. Even in the dim moonlight, he could make out the black blood pumping through its veins, which all those little key details are just horrifying.
It is horrifying. I couldn't even imagine seeing something like this.
No. And there's something about it being at night that makes it even worse. Because at day, I mean, at least you get a full glimpse of it, you know what you're dealing with. But at night, it's like it slowly just gets worse and worse.
Right.
Instead of just bombarding you at once.
Yep. Absolutely terrifying.
Now, Tomas's eyes kept moving over the beast, watching with fear as it steadily walked towards him. The head of the human-esque part of the monster was rolling around like it was going to fall off at any moment, just like you were saying.
Yeah,
like
and
it's
I hate those freaky movements.
Yeah.
You know, in the horror movies, the stutter movement.
Yep.
Or where they do the jerking and stuff. But the bobblehead, where it's just wobbling around too, that's also, I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's freaky. It's like a melon head.
Like a melon head.
It's a weeble that wobbled, but it wouldn't fall down.
Yeah, my wife hates that. You know, she's not a big fan of scary movies in general, but the times I could talk her into watching one with me, once those jerky movements start, she's done.
Yeah.
Game over. Nope, not doing it.
Nobody likes that.
Yeah.
Or the crab crawl, where they're coming down the stairs, kind of upside down, inverted.
Bones are snapping and moving weird. Now, the only thing he knew was that the Nuckelavee couldn't stand fresh water, so he backed up toward the lake. And as Tomas stood awaiting his fate, the horse head lowered down in line with his. Its vast jaws opened up like a terrifying yawn, and a hot stench filled his nose. Huge arms swung down to grab the terrified man, but he instinctively stepped back into the lake, splashing fresh water onto one of the horse's legs. Good move. I mean, the bad part is if you find out now that it doesn't care about fresh water.
Yeah.
Now you're in more of its territory because it can swim.
Right. You're totally screwed.
So the beast let out a horrible, thundering snort as it stepped away from the water. The swooping hands just missed dragging Tomas with him. He saw his chance to escape. He ran along the edge of the lake toward a small river. See, I don't know if I would have taken that route. I think I would have stepped back. I would have kept splashing it.
Yeah.
If I knew that bothered it, I would have moved back further and kept splashing it.
Right.
Because my thought is, if I hop out, now I've just pissed it off.
The scary part, though, would be that it could be brackish water. It's right across from the ocean.
Yeah.
And so if there's an inlet, it could have salt water in it.
Ah, yeah.
See, so running to the river was actually a smarter idea.
True.
Because the lake could, in fact, have some salt water in it.
Yeah.
Now, it seemed to bother the horse when it hit its leg. Pissed it off, it screamed, and stepped back. So I don't know. You would deduce at that point that it doesn't like it. I probably would have jumped
Just
into the lake.
Kept splashing.
Yeah.
But he wasn't there yet, and the monster was hot on his heels. Which, again, that's got to be terrifying. See that, and that's my thought when I said I might have stayed there. Is how you going to outrun a horse?
Yeah, you're not gonna. And you hear that thing galloping behind you,
screaming
with that bobbling Silent Hill dude on it.
And those arms like barely touching your shirt as it reaches out.
Oh, see.
He could hear snorting and roaring behind him. It sounded like a storm. And just as he reached the river, he felt the long swinging arms coming for him, and he dove into the water. Wading to the other side, Tomas looked back to see the Nuckelavee screeching on the other bank. As he caught his breath, he saw the only thing he had lost was his hat, hanging from those enormous arms of the Nuckelavee. So it snagged his hat.
So
right
it got his hat.
Yeah.
Just as he's diving into the water, it almost had him. Now, that's quite a story to tell.
Yeah. Now, this guy could be full of it, right? I mean, some people will do anything for their 15 minutes of fame.
Right. Exactly. And, you know, he's in Scotland. He probably had a few, you know, at the pub.
Yeah. A couple Lagavulins or whatever that famous
Walking home, hammered, thought he saw it, you know, and lost his mind. But I'm going with the fact that Tomas had an encounter with a demon.
Yeah.
And he narrowly escaped, and he's trying to tell his story. And this occurred sometime in like 1890, 1894, something like that was the guesstimated timeline.
Yeah.
And there haven't really been any sightings thereafter that anybody's come forward. But they probably are saying, well, you know what? Tomas was written up as a drunk.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah. Especially
or they didn't survive it.
Or they
See,
didn't
that's
survive
the
it.
other key. He was lucky that there was a river close by.
But let's say you knew Tomas to be a stand-up guy. And like you said, he's getting written off as that. Then you're going to think, well, what are they going to do to me? Yeah. I'm not telling them.
Exactly. So Tomas survives probably the most horrifying event of his life.
Yep. He never sleeps again.
He lives to tell about it. Yeah. Who knows? He probably died, 6 months later from lack of sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I know I'd never go to sleep again.
Oh, there's no way.
If you encountered something horrifying like that. And as it's reaching out with those gangly arms and it gets your hat as you got to be thinking, I was inches away from a horrifying death.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'd ever sleep. I don't think I would. Moving into how do you defend against a Nuckelavee? Well, my guess is there probably really is no way to do it. Freshwater obviously is the hot ticket, but when you're dealing with a demonic entity, prayer, I guess, which was not listed as a reason to use, but if you're dealing with a demon,
Yeah.
to me the only real way would be to use the power of Christ.
Yep.
And so that would be my first go-to. But in the story, this guy did say a prayer and it kept coming at him. And so was he, a lack of faith in his prayer, or is this a powerful demon that doesn't care? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. But the internet says that in order to defend yourself against a Nuckelavee, like many supernatural creatures, it's not necessarily invincible. Although it's powerful and terrifying, they believe there's ways you can protect yourself against it or even possibly defeat it.
And the internet wouldn't lie, so.
And the internet knows everything. The most well-known weakness of the Nuckelavee is its inability to cross fresh water. It literally hates rivers, streams, and any other source of fresh water. They're considered natural barriers, and a lot of the villages there on those islands protect themselves by building where there's a freshwater area.
Yeah.
So if your home is on the embankment of a river, you're pretty safe from a Nuckelavee.
You're good, yeah.
It's even known that rain will stop the Nuckelavee from coming onto land. So in the summer months, if you have a nice rainy day, then it's not going to come out. Winter confuses me a little bit because you would think that it rains during the winter.
Yeah.
But that's when it likes to come out onto land. But the rain is a deterrent, so it has to come out on a day where there is no rain.
Maybe that's why there's not a lot of sightings.
Yeah, exactly. Another method that I talked about earlier was this whole burning of seaweed thing, where that was their line of business. Back in the day, they would burn the seaweed to make fertilizers and soaps and things of that nature. But it's known that the smell of that burning kelp provokes it. However, there are a lot of people that say that it enrages this beast so much that it may return to the ocean just to get away from the smell.
The other downside is you're killing your crops and your animals.
Killing your crops, killing your animals. They didn't know that at the time, but now they do. So I'm not sure what they do there now.
Right.
So if you live in Orkney Island area, send us an email.
Yeah.
If you have that technology there, I don't know. They might still be in a village, on a river.
You never know.
Battling this beast and would never hear this podcast. But I would assume that the first thing is your best bet. Burning seaweed might piss it off to the point where it just comes in to destroy everything.
Yeah.
Might also piss it off enough to push it back to the ocean. So that's what they hope for. And then I don't know how they do this. I don't know if they pray to this sea goddess, but in times of trouble, islanders would often invoke the sea mither's protection, seeking her help to calm the sea and drive that demon back into its watery domain. How they do that, it wasn't explained, and I don't know. Since she technically is like Mother Nature or a sea goddess, I'm assuming in their folklore, maybe I don't know how they go to it. Do they go to the ocean's edge and yell out to her?
Yeah.
Is there a ritual that they perform, to pass along information to this sea goddess? I don't know, because it never really touched on that. It just said that they would go to her to ask for help.
Quick theory, maybe that's what the guy prayed to, and that's why he didn't run away.
That is
because maybe he wasn't praying the prayer that you and I would have thought.
Right.
Yeah,
he's praying to a false god.
Yeah.
I don't know, but those are the only things that they have listed that could even potentially defend you if that Nuckelavee comes onto land and starts coming towards you. find fresh water, jump in it as fast as you can, splash it, do whatever you can, because I don't think the other stuff works.
Yeah.
And, what is the odds that you have seaweed on you that you can burn anyway? So those are the listed defenses against a Nuckelavee. I'm not sure any of them actually would work. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Fresh water seems to be the hot ticket.
God forbid you're a couple hundred yards away, though.
Oh, yeah, you could not run
You're
it.
done for.
I don't know.
I mean, even 100 yards away.
Yeah.
You just sprint.
You're not gonna outrun a horse.
No. Especially a demon horse.
A demon horse, yeah.
With old bobblehead on the back there.
So I don't know. I guess I just gonna stay away from the Orkney Islands.
Yeah, that's the only thing you can do.
I don't want an encounter with the Nuckelavee. Moving into popularity, there are some movies, the Grimm animated series, not the actual movie of the Grimms, but they have an animated series that features the Nuckelavee. There's a television series called Outlander. Have you ever seen that one?
No, I never watched that one.
Yeah, nor did I. So I really can't speak to, what it did. But according to the internet, the Nuckelavee was mentioned at least once or twice during that series. The big one, so if you really wanted to know a little bit more about this and get into the whole concept of its beginning and the whole industrialization of the burning of the seaweed and how it pissed this thing off and how it all became to be, there is a PBS documentary called Monstrum, which details the entire myth of the Nuckelavee. So it's worth a watch if you're interested in more information on this guy. There are no festivals, no parades, no celebrations of the Nuckelavee. And in fact, instead of celebrating the creature at all, local traditions emphasize avoiding it completely and even caution against saying its name out loud because they think you might bring it on.
Yeah.
So if you're in the Orkney Islands or in northern Scotland, don't say Nuckelavee because it might bring it. I read a little thing that says that if they accidentally say Nuckelavee or if they are talking about it and use its name, they immediately drop and pray to keep that entity away, which I think I said at the very beginning of the podcast. But I just find it funny that they look at that with so much fear that the mere mention of its name brings about them dropping to their knees and praying that it's
not a joke.
Does not come. It's not a joke. Yeah, right. Anyway, horrifying creature. Can't think of anything that we've talked about to date that's worse than this.
No, there's some scary stuff out there, wendigos and skinwalkers and all that stuff, but this is just the embodiment of pure evil.
I know my daughter, your wife, has often said that of all the episodes, the one she's scared of the most is the skinwalker.
Yeah.
I kind of have to agree.
Yeah, because she said she even was having I think she was having a nightmare about, I can't remember if she said if it was you that was tapping at the window. Something, or she had a thought, maybe it wasn't a nightmare, she had a thought of you just tapping at the window, hey, let me in. She's it freaked me out. I had to close all the drapes and stuff in the house.
Go. Have you ever seen that thing on TikTok where the little kid's outside pounding on the sliding glass door, but when he goes over and opens it, there's
nothing there? Yep, I've seen that one, and then I've seen the one that looks like the lady, it's almost looks like a melted face or someone wearing a mask.
With that gangly hand.
Yeah, it's let me in. Help me or something. I don't remember what it's saying, but it's creepy.
Yeah. So I don't know. Roll the dice, man. What are you going to deal with, Nuckelavee or Skinwalker?
Just don't open the door to a Skinwalker.
You can't do it.
Yeah. Get the hell out of here. I'm watching TV. Yeah. But with this guy, it's a whole other ballgame.
Yeah. Once he comes on land, you're just screwed.
Yeah.
Unless you're
he's gunning for you.
Sitting in the river or something, but how long can you sit there? Because he could wait you out.
Give me a fly rod. I could sit there pretty long.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Eat raw fish and drink fresh water.
I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, I think that's got it covered. Unless you got anything else that I didn't think of.
No, I think it was pretty good.
All right. Well, our next episode is going to be on the Dyatlov Pass incident.
Yeah.
Kind of a horrifying thing. Different theories on what it was.
Yeah.
I know that it was a Yeti,
Yeah.
the abominable snowman,
Ripping people apart.
killed all those people.
Yep.
There's no doubt in my mind. Other people are saying, no, it was
Aliens or something with radiation poisoning.
government cover up on radiation stuff. So
hypoxia, I think, was the other one. Something with the altitude or
so kind of the altitude wouldn't shred the tents and put people
exactly.
in,
That's why
trees.
It's bogus. Yeah.
Not to mention the fact that there were some photographs taken.
Yep.
That they found in a camera and developed the film, and there were some frightening things on there. So my money says Yeti, and we'll get into it. We hope you join us next time, and until then,
thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us today. If you enjoyed the show and you want to help us out, then go ahead and give us a follow, leave us a review, and don't forget to turn on the automatic download button so you don't miss any upcoming episodes. And as always, if you've had any experiences, stories, thoughts, comments, or questions, we'd love to hear from you. Send us an email to cryptidfanatic@gmail.com. Let us know if you'd like to be on the show or just have your story featured during one of our episodes.